Looking at speedrun.com, Minecraft is separated into 5 different categories. These are split up depending on the version of Minecraft being played. We have pre 1.8, 1.8, 1.9 to 1.12, 1.13 to 1.15, and lastly 1.16 plus. They're separated because each version utilizes different strategies. Some versions use towers while others use trading, and there are a lot of differences. Something that many of you will know is that 1.16 is by far the fastest iteration of the game, boasting a random seed world record of 7 minutes and 1 second by Drip 120. But something that's less common knowledge is why this is the case. The second fastest category is 1.15 with a time of 13:22 by max, almost double the length of the main category. What makes 1.16 significantly faster than all of the other versions out there? How is the time so much shorter than everything else? Why aren't any of the newer versions being played? If these are questions you've ever had, then sit tight as I enlighten you about Minecraft Speedrunning's fastest version. The first piece of evidence we'll find for why 1.16 is so fast is the namesake of the update. 1.16, otherwise known as the Nether update, completely revamped the Nether. Not only did it add different biomes, but it also introduced the most important mechanic for speedrunning with piglin bartering. This new mechanic pairs incredibly well with the new structure, the Bastion. There's 4 types and they all contain a lot of piglins and a lot of gold. Speedrunners took advantage of this by developing routes that efficiently loot the structure. By giving a pig gold, they will trade any item you see on this table. 4 of these in particular stick out. These are ender pearls, obsidian, fire resistance, and string. I'm sure you know ender pearls are needed to create the ever so vital eyes of ender, so let's take a look at how the other versions do this. In pre 1.8 and 1.9 to 1.12, runners are required to build a tall tower that allows for a fresh set of mobs after each death. By luring an enderman into a hole after many death cycles, players will eventually collect 12 ender pearls. We see in the world record that this whole process takes around 5 minutes. In version 1.13 to 1.15, speedrunners trade emeralds with cleric villagers to get their pearls. This is done by collecting gold from monuments and sticks from villages. These sections are long and is where 1.16 saves a lot of seconds. Taking a look at the world record, the time it takes to enter the Bastion, get loot, and leave is only a minute and a half. It takes so little time. Just like hitting that subscribe button. No, I get it, that one was bad. Bastions are very powerful and the players weren't the only ones who figured this out. Something you might notice is that every run in this category is done in 1.16.1. Well, it's believed that Mojang thought bartering was too powerful and ended up nerfing it. In 1.16.2, they added piglin brutes to Bastions which deal massive damage and don't even trade with players. Not only this, but the barters themselves got worse. They added a lot of unnecessary items like blackstone and water bottles that made trading less effective. The biggest nerf, however, was that the chance of getting ender pearls decreased. Apparently, lowering the odds wasn't enough because they also set the maximum number of pearls you can get to 4 instead of the previous 8. But back on track, 1.16 has the most broken form of piglin bartering and is how runners make this version so fast. Earlier, I mentioned that obsidian, fire resistance, and string were also important trades, so why is that? Well, let's start off with the most simple one. Fire resistance isn't exactly necessary, but it is really helpful. Something that almost all versions have in common is the need to kill blazes at a fortress. Fire res makes this incredibly easy and much faster. It also makes traversing the Nether easier. As I said earlier, pearls are easier to get in this version, which allows runners to throw them as a means of transportation. Having fire resistance makes it so even lava lakes aren't that big of a problem. So we've agreed that fire res is good, but obsidian is truly something else. After runners get pearls and blaze rods, they need to find the stronghold. Back in the day, you would be expected to go back to your original portal and start triangulating your way towards it. Well, obsidian changes this completely. With 10 obsidian, you're able to build a portal directly from the fortress, which skips going back to your home portal. Strongholds generate in rings, and by placing a portal into one of these areas, there's a chance you'll be close by one. This, however, is nowhere near how powerful obsidian can be. To unlock the full potential of it, you need 20. It might seem like a lot, but it really isn't. The chests and bastions often contain a decent amount of obsidian, and you'll see top runs more commonly than not have enough. As standard, placing 10 can be used to escape the Nether. From here, runners will find out where the stronghold is using a calculator. This calculator will not only tell you the location of the stronghold, but also the corresponding Nether coordinates, since, you know, traveling 1 block in the Nether is 8 in the overworld. Finally, once reaching the correct location, runners use the last of their obsidian to build another portal that leads them directly into the stronghold. Yeah, it's pretty insane. This is a massive time save that 1.16 Plus has over the other versions thanks to Bastions. A majority of time spent in other versions is due to the distance of the stronghold. With the technique of calculated travel, getting to one becomes trivial. So now you know how strong the Nether is in this version. Well, the only way 1.16 can get better is if it was also the version that made getting there the easiest. Yeah, it is. For every other version, entering the Nether is seen more as a required task rather than a helpful asset. This is because the only purpose it serves is as the place where blazes are found. 1.7, 1.11, and 1.15 only need the Nether because of the fortress. Oh, and I left out 1.8 for a reason. Funnily enough, 1.8 doesn't even need the Nether at all. In this version, it is possible to trade with villagers for Eyes of Ender rather than Ender Pearls. This completely skips the need to get blaze rods and is why you won't see the Nether in this version. I haven't been talking about this category very often because of how much an outlier it is, but everything I said still applies. 1.16.1 was pretty much made for speedrunning, and we even see this with the Overworld. Let me introduce you to the wall. The wall is a way for speedrunners to reset multiple instances of Minecraft at a time. The reason they do this is because not every world is built equally. They're looking for a seed that has potential. The start of this search is with water, more specifically island or coastal spawns. But what's so special about a beach? Well, beaches have a chance to contain a buried treasure. By doing a technique known as mapless buried treasure, real creative name there. Runners are able to collect iron, food, and TNT right at the start of the run. This can be done in 1.15 as well. The difference is that in this version, runners are more concerned with the emeralds they contain. As you know, a 1.16 runner's first goal is to get into the Nether, and buried treasures are perfect for that. They're pretty much like a Pokemon booster pack. With the iron, runners create tools in a bucket, which is all you really need. Now that they have everything, how do you actually create another portal? If only 1.16 had a way to help with that, and yeah, look at this cool magma ravine. With Minecraft 1.13, it introduced magma ravines, which are just underwater ravines with lava under them. What's amazing about this is that, like always, smart people figured out how to use them and form another portal with it. These were actually taken out of the game as a result of the Caves and Cliffs update. Since the terrain can be much lower, magma ravines just don't exist anymore. Other categories are forced to create nether portals from lava pools, which are not only less likely to occur, but slower as well. So now we know how well the Overworld and Nether in 1.16.1 pair together. But did you really think that's where it would stop? Finally, when runners reach the end, they have a few ways to defeat the dragon. Before we discuss that, let's see how old end fights go. These are pretty slow. In 1.7 and 8, the dragon will occasionally charge at a player. This is when runners will blow up one bed at a time to deal damage. These are typically the slowest end fights because it relies on the dragon constantly flying into the player. In later versions like 1.11, the dragon perches down to the center fountain where you can then blow up beds in rapid succession. It's similar to modern day fights but tweaked because of different dragon mechanics. Finally, in 1.14 and above, we are introduced to the current dragon behavior where the perch is much slower. Instead of rapidly diving down, it slowly descends, which gives runners time to kill it. You're probably familiar with this as the 1 cycle, and these fights are typically very quick. But 1.16 takes this a step further. This is where the 0 cycle comes into play. A 0 cycle takes advantage of the dragon's flight path along invisible nodes. By bridging up to these nodes, players are able to skip waiting for the dragon perch and deal damage up in the sky. This is the fastest method of killing the dragon and has been used in NoFear's former world record. So what does it require? Well, a typical 1 cycle can be done in 4 beds. Because beds don't deal as much damage during a 0 cycle, runners need about 5 or 6 explosives. Remember when I said string was an important trade? This is why. Getting a lot of explosives like beds is possible because piglins can give string. You also need blocks. Luckily for us, 1.16 has a way to help out with that. The buried treasures I was talking about earlier often contain TNT. This is used to blow up trees while giving the players a ton of dirt to navigate the world with. Finally, runners also need ender pearls, which, as mentioned previously, bastions can give you a lot of those. Once again, it feels like 1.16.1 has everything working for it. Thanks to a combination of these factors, we're able to see how this version of Minecraft soars ahead all of the other ones as the fastest category. Overall, Minecraft is a fast game and 1.16 exemplifies that. Have we reached its limit? Well, I don't think so, but it has been a decent amount of time since a world record. No matter what, each category will get shorter and shorter, but I don't see a world where 1.16 isn't the fastest. I don't know how to end this video, so bye.